Hello, and welcome to the new episode of us building Pairi Daiza. We hit our milestone 10th episode, which is absolutely awesome. Woohoo! On Wednesday, I will bring out a full tour of everything we've built so far, and we'll continue to do so for every 10 episodes. I'm thinking this will probably be around a 50 episode series, maybe even more, so we're in this for the long run, and I'm super excited to keep going, and I'm absolutely super happy to be building. A little introduction to what we're building today. This is the Nautilus, or at least it's becoming the Nautilus. And today we are building its exterior. So in episode 11 we'll build the interior, and today it's only the exterior because it's a huge building and it's just taken so much time to actually build this. And I'm making a few mistakes here and there. I'm going off of pictures again, and sometimes I need to change stuff up. So it took me basically all week to get this built after work. So I mean, I'm sorry that it's only the exterior today, but next week will be the interior and it will hold a lot of aquariums. So that is what the Nautilus is used for. It used to be a neoclassical castle built in 1854, I think. And it's designed by Limbourg, I think I pronounced that right, who is also the architect for the Belgian royal castle in Laken. So that's a quite fun fact to know that it's actually designed by the same person who designed our royal palace. And so what I'm doing right now is I built this with a 2-meter roof first, and then afterwards I changed it to a 4-meter because that looked way better when looking from the ground up, and it looked way more like the pictures, which I'll show in the bottom right at regular intervals in this episode. So this episode is gonna be less scripted, so I'm probably gonna go off on some tangents. I'm sorry for that, but I played football earlier today, and it's been a bit hard to type because I'm a goalkeeper, and I had a little accident during the match, so my fingers are quite bruised, and typing is gonna be hard, which is quite hard for my job as well, since I'm a programmer, and that tends not to be too well if your fingers are in shambles. But we'll see about that later. So yeah, that doesn't really matter at the moment. So as I said, I'm gonna show you some pictures, and it's been quite hard to build the castle in my opinion, because there's a lot of nooks and crannies where I didn't really know what to do in Planet 2, but I think in the end, everything I built ended up being custom, because at first I was planning to use just the existing windows, but then the size wasn't right, and it just didn't look right compared to what it was. So I ended up using a lot of the same blocks. Like in these ones right here, I used a lot for just like lining everything off, which looks quite like the pictures, at least from afar. Probably from closer by it will look less than it is in real life, but I guess that's not really an issue for me, because like the exterior, while really beautiful, I think when you visit Pairi Daiza itself, you don't spend too much time admiring the building, even though it is really pretty. But what I think is most awesome about this building is all the aquariums inside, because it actually holds so many different marine animals, not only fish but also sea anemones, starfish and coral, for example, or like even sharks. Like even the bigger fish are there, because the aquariums in there are actually super huge. So I'm excited to rebuild those in Planet 2. It's gonna be quite hard because there isn't any fish yet, but I've browsed the Steam Workshop, and I found some like I'm not really sure if I should call them fish, but they're just used some small assets to create the idea of a fish. And I think once you put them inside water, that you're not really gonna notice that they're not fish, even though like there isn't an animation, of course. But I think for what we're doing today, it's fine as long as there aren't any fish in the game. And then of course, once there are, I believe what they're gonna do is just make them like animations or animatronics, like they do have them in Planet Coaster. We don't have any animatronics in Planet Zoo yet, except for that one kangaroo in the Australian pack. But I think like for birds and fish, which I believe they will add later, but I think it's gonna be mostly animatronics, because I think it's quite hard to, compared to the other animals, to really replicate it in the same behavior with a bird or a fish. And I think that's where they're gonna like use their knowledge of animatronics inside Planet Zoo, like the same way they had it in Planet Coaster with the I think in Planet Coaster it's mostly like special effects and like cowboys jumping forwards and backwards and bending bandits jumping or like falling when barrels explode or some stuff like that in Planet Coaster. I think they're just gonna use that knowledge and that experience in Planet Zoo as well with fish and birds. I don't think we should expect like birds to be animals like the camels or the llamas, for example, because that's just, I think it's quite hard when you need to account for a roof as well and where they can actually fly and where they can't. I think animatronics will be the best solution. And I absolutely want fish and birds in the game, and I think this would be a good way to go using just the animatronics. So what we're doing right now, let's get off the tangent and explain a little bit of what we're doing, is just the entrance for it. So at first you'll see me put a dark plaster wall behind it and then just like give the illusion of it being an entrance, but in the end we'll actually delete the wall behind it and people will be able to walk through. Of course the doors won't open, but I mean you can see inside through the glass, which in the end will turn out fine. Like right now there isn't anything in the building, and that's why I didn't like actually open the doors. But I think in the end, when we have built this aquarium, it will look quite good. So right now we'll just finish up this entrance. Like it's not the entrance, but it's above the entrance, of course. We're gonna mainly focus on the front of the building, and the back of the building will be for the end of the episode. But I skipped most of it from that building process because it's mostly the same, and just copy paste of the front, because when I saw a picture, like I only had a really distant picture from the backside, but I think it's all quite the same, or it looks quite the same. So I didn't really figure I should put this in the video because it would become quite boring in the end, and it's just copy paste. Like even though it took me quite some time because of just small adaptations that need to be done, but I think for this video just it's essentially copy paste, and that's not fun, not any fun to watch. The same with this. This is just a lot of copy pasting, and I'm going all around the building to place the same stuff. So of course we're not gonna keep doing that. So now for this, for what we're gonna do now is figure out how to build the windows. And at first I was planning to use these breeze, like longer. I think they're called breeze trims or something like that. I ended up using the small breeze blocks because it's a lot more custom, and it's easier to work with, in my opinion. Of course, because I'm using a lot of these breeze blocks, I think the building turns out to be about 7,000 pieces or 8,000, which means I can't actually export it into a Steam Workshop item, and I'm sorry for that. Of course, you can also visit the page for the Steam Workshop item from the whole zoo, and then you could figure out how to copy it to a custom zoo if you want to, probably in multiple pieces or something like that. But unfortunately, I can't put this whole building as one building inside the workshop. So I'm sorry for people who wanted to use this. I might look into how to actually do that, or maybe I could split it up in like the left side and the right side, but that'll be quite hard because there's multiple buildings and stuff like that. So I'll have to figure out how it's best done. I haven't got too much experience in creating workshop items, so like if anyone in the comments down below would like to like help me in creating like a workshop item for this building, then do let me know. I would appreciate it a lot, and maybe we can figure something out together, maybe on Discord or anything. We could go through it together and see if there is a possible solution for it. So this window, as I said, it took me quite some time because it's all the breeze blocks, and you gotta figure out like in the end or in a while I'm gonna be adding some thin wooden planks, and I've gotta figure out like they need to be equidistant from each other, which is quite a pain sometimes. So I started using just one breeze block to measure how far apart they should be. I ended up using 1.5, or I think maybe even 2. No, I think it's 1.5. So for example, right here I'm just measuring the half, but then in the end I switched it up to, once I look at that picture in more detail, I think I switched it up to having 2 vertical ones and 4 horizontal ones, which made me use 1.5. So I need to change my tactics for it. So it's been quite a pain for like only the windows. But of course, once I created one of them, I could easily like switch it or copy paste it to the whole building. And for this window, I'm using the same tactic as I said before, just like behind the glass, put a dark plaster behind it, because that makes the illusion that there is a window. But for example, like because of the sun bouncing on the window and it being darker inside, usually you can't see inside if it's darker than the outside. So that's what I end up doing for these windows as well. I think I learned that trick from Paulsby, I think, who's a fellow YouTuber who's absolutely, like, what that man makes is absolutely gorgeous, and I steal ideas from his a lot. Not to say. I also saw his. I also ended up using his ice cream van. I think, I'm not sure if it's gonna be in this episode, but on the outside of this building is a what's it called? A churros van. So they sell churros and I think some ice cream as well. So I think I end up using his ice cream van because it's just so awesome, and I don't think I could replicate it in any more detail than he did. I might end up like switching. I think it mentions ice cream. I might end up switching that sign into churros, because I'm not 100% sure if they sell ice cream, but I do know that they sell churros because my girlfriend, she loves the churros, and it's like an obligatory stop for us when we visit Pairi Daiza. So I really wanted to have that truck in there, just to, like, it's our awesome memories that we always have to stop there when we visit Pairi Daiza, because churros are just super awesome. If you don't know what churros are, I'm not sure if they like have them in every country. Probably do. Churros are like these fried what's it called, fried dough with probably lots of sugar in it, and you put some like white powder sugar on it, which is like, it's just so damn good. I can't, like, my tummy every time I think about churros is like, yes please, I want them. It's not very healthy, of course, but I mean, a person must have his indulgences, right? And churros is absolutely one of mine. So right now, back to the commentary. What we're doing now is just adding some windows on that center larger building, and that's actually like a normal window with a smaller window on top of that, I think, from what I saw in the pictures. So that's what I'm doing now. I just copied the windows we already made, and then I just made it a little smaller and moved it up a little bit, and I think it works out quite well in the end. It's a bit of fiddling with the X, Y, and Z axes, because they change to random axes sometimes, and I can't figure it out for the life of me how I should like always have them in the same direction, especially like when you have only 2 items and you like one has like they're exactly the same as the 2 same items. You just place them a little bit apart, and suddenly the X and the Y axes are just totally messed up. Like you can't copy it properly, and then you have to go back and only select one of them, which is an absolute pain. Sometimes it's hard. I don't know why it does that. I'm probably just being an idiot for not knowing how to fix that. But I mean, it's a pain. It's absolutely a pain for me. So next thing up is the windows. You see me at first building these windows with like the 2 glass panels which overlap, which looks absolutely awful, and then in the end I switched over to like a wider panel, just because that looked way better. Again, the same trick with the dark plaster behind it. At first you see me building these windows with 2 glass panels. I ended up changing them off camera, I think, and then you'll see the end result. We're seeing the end result in the beginning, and you'll see it at the end again. And what I'm doing as well, so right now there isn't anything inside, But since I'm planning to fill the inside, and most of the time the windows are actually opened, or at least open to some degree, so to let some fresh air in. I'm not sure what is in the top side of the building, but I really wanted to replicate that as well, because like having these windows closed would look quite good, but then again I wouldn't have liked it, I think, because like having all the windows closed is just a lot of the same stuff, and that's no fun at all, and it doesn't really look realistic because those windows are typically open. So what I ended up doing is actually opening some of them. I think I opened up about 7 or 8, and then you see me build this interior for it so that it actually looks good when you look through the window. At first I used a wall, but I ended up just flooring it all, so you can actually just look inside. I'm gonna delete that wall in a bit. Of course, this roof, there's stuff sticking through it, but I don't think I'm gonna do anything with this floor anyways. So it doesn't really matter that there's stuff sticking through it. Maybe if I can, I put in like a little staff room with a stair to it or something, but that's something I'll have to figure out at a later moment. So right now I've got one open window, and then now I'm gonna change the glass to be one panel to make it look a lot better. So I've gotta widen the windows, I've gotta recopy them, which, I mean, it was a little bit of a pain, but in the end it looked so much better. I think we're gonna skip over that right now. You just see me copying this, and then we'll focus on the back of the building right now. So as you see, I just copied all of the windows. I think most of the windows are the same. I haven't really paid attention to it last time, but from what I gathered, the windows are exactly the same, so I just copied that. And then for the entrance as well, I actually have no clue what the entrance or the exit from the back looks like. So what I ended up doing is just copy the entrance from the front and just sink it down a little lower, because I think the doors are a little lower. But I ended up keeping just the exact same, which I think, I mean, just because I had no idea what it looked like, I just copied this, or the doors at least. The rest I had an idea, because I had a picture from very far, but the doors weren't on it. So I just guessed that they were the same. I ended up moving them up a little bit, or like more forward a little bit to really look more like the picture did. But since I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll change the doors later when I know what the doors actually look like, but for now I'm just keeping it as is. So right now I end up building these other columns, which looks, I think, maybe even a little better than the ones at the front, because there's just a few more of them and it just looks a little better in my opinion. I think there's only one more, but alright, I still like it quite a lot. And with this we complete the building, and I'll give you a little tour from around. I'm not gonna show you everything I did anymore because it's just a lot of tedious process. So let's just see it from the outside. That left garden still needs some finishing, but it's like the building itself is finished, and that's what I really wanted to finish for this video. So guys, I hope you liked it. If you did, do subscribe if you haven't, and like this video. I appreciate it a lot, and it's completely free, so I mean, why not, right? I will see you in the next one, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. See ya, bye.